Hi, this is a video demonstration of badintersections.com. Bad Intersections was started several years ago to track historic accident data. Uh, we had originally founded a database called Photo Enforced um, back in 2001, believe it or not. And from that, we've been able to identify several dangerous intersections and on a map by just simply tracking red light camera, speed camera, and traffic camera data. Cities put up red light cameras and traffic camera data um, uh, to primarily mitigate accidents in the area. So cities put up, several thousand, red light cameras, speed cameras in intersections, but drivers, behave erratically around those locations. And with our research, we found that a lot of these cameras weren't necessarily at the most dangerous intersections. Um, and so we went out and did some public database searching for the media and news coverage of intersections that were um, being covered in the news, like for instance, the top 20 or the top 200 most dangerous intersections. And we found several hundred locations that were being covered on a daily basis. So we took that data and basically aggregated it into a database of cars, pedestrians, bikes, and trains and train accident locations that are prone to accidents. Um, so if you look at the database, it's categorized in four different ways primarily. Um, and you can search the database here. Let me just go to actually the big map, which will give you a better overview. Um, the big map will give you an ability to search without some of the ads. Fortunately, this database is monetized primarily through advertising, but we're trying to convert this into more of a data licensing model to sell this data to the autonomous vehicle folks, the insurance people, municipalities, state and local government. Because for the most part, state and local government and municipalities do a good job of covering what I would call the top 100 or top 200 dangerous intersections in the major metropolitan areas. So if you see the density here of the intersection data, it's primarily in the major metropolitan areas. But once you get out into the rural areas, for example, I grew up in eastern Iowa here. There's several dangerous intersections at locations that are just not covered by the municipalities and the counties that cover, like for example, Cedar Rapids or Des Moines or what have you. So once you get out into the rural areas, it's almost like the Wild West when it comes to intersection management. And there's 25,000 municipalities across the U.S. and each municipality has its own kind of flavor or way in which they implement traffic cameras, stoplights, and what have you. And so, as you can imagine, there's a lot of different, a dangerous intersection in Iowa isn't necessarily a dangerous intersection in California. So it's a very local phenomenon. But what we've done is taken we've aggregated data. So each one of these points on the map have been manually coded. For example, this is um, an article, just clicked on it randomly, a place in Nebraska that's been a historically dangerous intersection. So if you click on the map itself, each one of these pinpoints highlights a dangerous intersection that has been a problematic area. The green locations are fatalities within the last, I think, 7 years. 2010 through 2017. The red locations are um, accident locations from cars primarily. Um, the um, the purple, I guess, pink locations, purplish pink locations are locations of trains where a significant amount of train crashes have occurred, where cars getting hit on tracks or pedestrians getting hit on tracks, railroad tracks. The blue locations are dangerous pedestrian intersections, and these are intersections that the media has covered um, that have been essentially prone to accidents all across. in specific cities. So, um, and then the last category are dangerous bike intersections, and these are intersections that have been, have had a significant amount of bike accidents. And on the map, you can toggle on and off traffic. Um, and for example, this is interesting. It's 6 p.m. in Los Angeles. I'm going to zoom in on LA. Um, and also, there's a search button on the right here, so you can easily fall into your into your location. So you can see the the 405 is jammed, which is nothing new here, but this is the red line shows you traffic, real-time traffic, and the red is traffic stopped, green is traffic that's moving. And Google Maps allows you to see the traffic all the way down to the really minor street levels, which is really kind of neat. Um, and if you look at the historic accident data, let's just go up to San Francisco. I like this area a lot in terms of the way the data it shows. You can see some of the problematic intersections are intersections that are sit right on where it's red, or where it's you where you can see the colors is where there's a lot of density, or where there's a lot of traffic congestion, um, especially let's look at downtown San Francisco. So I like to look at this map around rush hour in most markets, just to see kind of when we add data to the map, just to see what's going on in a particular area. So the way we add new locations to the map, if users can simply go, if you know of an intersection that you think is pretty dangerous, you can simply type the location here or zoom into it on the map. And what we do is we highlight user contributed areas with the dangerous intersection, and it says user contributed. So you can actually search the map for areas, locations that users have contributed. We have, gosh, how many do we have now? Let's see. Raise the search level. So we now have over 252 locations that have been contributed by users, and they give an explanation as to why the intersection is dangerous, or what their theory is for it being dangerous. So that's just one resource. The other locations that have been added to the map are intersections that have been contributed by the news media. So once we on a daily basis, we're scouring news alerts, Google alerts for cities, municipalities that are doing press releases, or local press that covers intersections that are dangerous in certain markets. And we take that information, we manually find that intersection, and we log it into the database. And then we actually put a link to that article here in the database. Um, so we're actively trying to get this data into the hands. So if you're traveling somewhere and using Google or Waze or one of these navigation products out there, we're trying to get that out there so it's an active warning for you, so you would know, hey, there's been a significant, when you're driving through this intersection, there's been a significant amount of pedestrian accidents or bike accidents here. You can see the green areas are where there's been a lot of bike accidents that have occurred. So being more aware of these situations could be very helpful and hopefully save lives. But it'll also make you drive a lot more safer. And one of the things we've done over the years is we've been able to aggregate a kind of what I would call the top characteristics that are causing dangerous intersections. And for the most part, this is an obvious one. It's multiple intersections coming in at angles. It's intersections that are coming in non-perpendicular or within multiple lanes. It's crosswalks at near intersections that are or near bus lanes. Crosswalks near bus stations and busy streets are very prone to pedestrian accidents. Or lanes where you're merging 5 lanes into 3 or 4 or what have you. And also, we've seen a huge correlation of accidents near shopping malls and near big box retailers, such as Walmarts and Targets and and Costco's of the world. Train accidents are an obvious one. Intersections near blind curves have been really are problematic. And then this is another big one. A train intersections that are occurring at on roadways near that are non-perpendicular. That's been a big doozy. And this, I think, is probably the biggest one: intersections before or after curves. I mean, that's where we're seeing a huge amount of dangerous or car accident data there. And one of the things cities we think can do a better job of is lengthening yellow lights at these intersections if they're aware of that. So, um, and then there's stop signs, and then there's divided highways with no lights, intersections crossing running or bike paths over hills. So we'd like to bring cities and municipalities aware of what's causing bad intersections, and we think a lot of they're dangerous by design, and they can help improve awareness of pedestrian bikes and driver safety if they just put up better signage, maybe lengthen yellow lights. We can even redesign intersections to make it more safer. So we've got a database now of 13,000 locations. It's a worldwide database. We do have a lot of accident data in Australia and in New Zealand, and some in the UK. And for obvious reasons, language barriers have prevented us from really scaling this out in other areas as well. But we hope to do it in the near future. So um, if you wish to subscribe or purchase the data, you can go into our syndicated maps data marketplace here and go into our dangerous intersections database, and we're offering significant multi-year discounts for those that subscribe to us, because we are adding several thousand locations per year. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Contact information is here. Feel free to submit questions on the video below. Reach out to us and let us know how you're using the data.